The final tool I want to show you in Zoom is the whiteboard. And just like before, we go to share screen, but in this time, instead of sharing the desktop or some file on our computer, we choose the whiteboard selection. So share the whiteboard, and then we can pretty much do whatever we need to do. We can use this freehand draw tool. If I want to make a red oval, I can select the oval shape, and I can make an oval that's filled in if I want to. If you want text, one of the things that I do in some of my Bible classes is that I'll copy and paste a bit of scripture here. We'll just pretend this is scripture, and then I'll let the students go in and do the markup. So the students can then go in, and if they go to view options, it should be toward the top of their screen in Zoom. It says at the top you are viewing Russ Wills's screen, and then you have view options, and down here toward the bottom you see annotate. So the students then can click on annotate, and they can make arrows and add text, add notes, whatever they decide to do. The students should be able to go in and I guess they can't erase things somebody else did, but they can draw different marks, different types of highlights, and all the same things that you can do there. So that's the whiteboard. Right now I just accidentally hit the escape key and the whiteboard closed down, and that would be a little annoying as a student, but thankfully the whiteboard picks up where you left off. So if that happens, you just go back to screen share, choose whiteboard, go back to share, and everything that you had been doing is still there. And as a teacher, you can choose clear and clear just your drawings, undo, or clear the viewer's drawings, undo, or clear everything. And then you do have this undo and redo button if you need it. At the end of your meeting, when you officially end the meeting, these files should be saved to your computer. If you're not sure, you can always click on save, and the students should also be able to click on save. So this was saved as a PNG file. It's a type of image file. With the little drop down, you can also choose to save it as a PDF file. Both of them would be absolutely fine for this type of work. So whatever your preference is fine. If you're not sure, go with the PDF. It's always a safe bet. All right, so if you choose, in my case, Show in Finder, it probably would say something like Show in Windows Explorer if you're in Windows, and this shows you right where that file will be. All right, when you shut down Zoom, though, like I said, that same folder should pop up, and it should show you everything you need. And that's it. So this is using the whiteboard. Another thing you can do, by the way, with the whiteboard is Spotlight is sort of like a laser pen. Let's choose that. All right, so now this little red dot lights up. So anywhere I point, it's just like pointing with the mouse, the cursor, except it's a bright red circle, so it's easier to spot. It's easier to follow. I can also choose the arrow, and wherever I click, I can put an arrow, and that arrow moves around. So as I point to different things over here, the arrow sort of follows, and then eventually you can, when you're done, you can get it to, well, maybe it stays there. There's some way to make it go away. And finally, the vanishing pen is actually pretty cool. If I want to highlight something, especially if it's a shape or a large section of something, I don't have to use that arrow repeatedly over and over again. I just draw around it, and that highlights the whole section, but then the highlight fades away. So it's not a permanent markup that'll stay there in your final copy of this. All right, so these are some useful ways to use the whiteboard. Whiteboard can be great, especially if you encourage students to go in and turn on the annotation and start marking this up with you or as groups or whatever you have in mind there. So great tool for learning, great tool for the classroom.